Today I'm going to talk about how to study for anatomy and physiology. Woo! Recently, I just finished freshman year and I had to take Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2 for my nursing prerequisite class, and it is a weeding out class. Here are a few tips that kept me somewhat sane. Somewhat. Yay! It's called Michaela's 10 Helpful Study Tips for Anatomy and Physiology. I'm going to talk to you about lab. Now, lab was a 1-hour credit course, and even though it was only 1 hour, it pretty much freaking took most of my time, most of my life, because I was studying, but that's okay, because I made the grades that I needed to. So, numero one, take pictures of microscope slides. I am serious, guys. That is really helpful. You need to look at these microscope slides a lot, and you're only in the lab for once a week, and that's only for lab. Go to open lab and take pictures of your microscope slides, so then later on you can look back at them and be like, oh, I remember what this is. And so don't forget to label your slides, because if you don't label, then those pictures will be of no use. Number dos, buy coloring books and flashcards. That really helped me in my first course, or my A&P 1. So this is the coloring book that I used, and it is the Anatomy Coloring Book by Ryan Caput and Lawrence M. Elson. Now this was about $50 on Amazon. Sad day. But good news for you guys, I heard they actually lowered the price to about $25. So that's great. This was really helpful because I use this a lot for the muscles. I was having a hard time learning about the muscles, so it would tell you a little bit about it, and then you would get to color like a first grader. Why it isn't colored in right now is because I decided to photocopy this since it was so expensive, and I wanted to use it again as many times as I needed to. I decided to photocopy it and print as many copies that I needed to downstairs using my school printer. And that was actually very helpful because a lot of my friends got to use it as well. I also said buy flashcards. And when I'm talking about buying flashcards, I looked at a lot of different flashcards and none of them were as good. Personally, none of them were as good as Mosby's Anatomy and Physiology Study and Review Cards, 2nd edition. So it looks like this. And my friend actually got it, and she let me borrow them during the first semester when she wasn't taking A&P, and they really saved my butt because I could go and let's say I had to do something that day and I really did need to still study. I wasn't around my books. I would grab a few flashcards and I'd be like, okay, so this is a card about the long bone. And see, there's the anatomy part. And because my course was Anatomy and Physiology, I needed to know the physiology as well. Well, good thing it has a review question down here. Every single card is like this. So it has a review question after at the bottom of everything. Or you would ask yourself, besides serving as a covering surrounding bone, what makes the periosteum a critically important membrane? And so, that is a very long answer. So you look behind and you see the answer. And you also get to see what everything is labeled over here. So these were very helpful. And I would look at them. I kept them on my nightstand, so then right before I went to bed, I could just quickly review a few of those cards, and that helped me retain the information. So that was good. Number 3, make PowerPoints. Lots and lots of PowerPoints. You will be happy after you do this. So, the first semester, lab was a breeze, or more so than second semester, because first semester, they mainly focused on the models, the just identifications. That was mainly because we were learning about like the muscles, the bones, neurons, all that fun stuff. Second semester, it was a lot harder because our lab coordinator decided to switch everything up and really heavily focus on the book. So our tests were mainly coming from what was in this lab book, and they could be very tiny details, and I thought I was going to go insane if I had to like learn every single word for this. But what helped me a lot was actually making PowerPoints. So I would look at a section, and let's say I'm looking at the heart. And yes, it looks like there's a lot highlighted, but actually I needed to highlight a lot more. But instead of doing that, because I didn't want to go crazy, I decided to take notes on flashcards. And so I would ask a question to myself, and then I would flip it over and write the answer that was in the book. Or, just like what the atrium was. And so that really helped me because later on I transferred those note cards into PowerPoint slides. So when I was studying for the tests, I was quizzing myself as well. I also made a PowerPoint for the whole test with the slides, the models, pictures, videos, and that was also very helpful. So remember when I told you guys to take pictures of your microscope slides? What I decided to do is I decided to compile, let's say I have compact bone, and there's a microscope slide of compact bone. Well, I decided to grab other pictures from Google and put them all together on one certain slide, so then later on, I knew exactly what compact bone looks like. I didn't have to memorize one certain slide because you need to know what compact bone looks like. Number 4. Guys, this is going to be for any class you take. Talk to your teacher. They're there to help you. They really do want you to succeed, and they know what's going to be graded and what they want. So, let's say I need help on my lab report, and I just don't know how to make something the way they need me to. So I go talk to my teacher, and she guides me, and that's very helpful. So I'm like, yay! And speaking about lab reports, what really did help me in my lab report, now this was, I bought this for lecture, however, I mainly used it for my lab because it had really good information that I could use in my lab report, and it's Principles of Anatomy and Physiology by Gerald J. Tortora and Brian Derrickson. So that really helped me out. You see all these notes, or these little sticky notes, and that's just for one chapter. That was for my most recent lab report that I wrote on digestion. So I use this. My friends begged me to use this, and so I let them. I mean, they gave me food, so that was okay. Number 5 for lab. Take videos of yourself identifying models, even if you look a little crazy. Take videos of yourself identifying these models because they will have open labs sometimes, but sometimes you aren't able to go visit all the time, and you need to learn these models. And so not only are you identifying them and learning them yourself, but you can go back and be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what this was. So let me go look at this video that I saw myself, naming certain identification things. Oh, back to the pictures. Take pictures of everything. Take pictures of equipment. Take pictures of models. Take pictures of pictures. I did that. That really helped.